Be-doop-a-doop. Cypress. Hello. Welcome back. It's been so long.
Hey everybody.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been 2 weeks since it looked at me.
Yeah, I guess technically it has been 2 weeks since I've looked at you. I mean, I've listened to you, but don't think I've, who's been? I don't know. Who's been? We have been. We have him. He is ours. I don't know. It's been a minute.
Has been.
I gotta shake off the rust and scooch over again because I always somehow gravitate the other direction. Okay, it's because the bed's on that side, so I just kind of slowly start going and leaning that way.
What was that about having EPs? You're just gonna end this session
Yeah, I'm just gonna sleep right here on my pillow, right there. That makes me look like a giant.
And you're not?
I was gonna say.
I'm not!
And pronouns are fee, fi, fo, fum.
I will squash
What are the
you all.
four
Hunter,
different
what are you doing
circumstances?
over there in the corner of my screen? You're just making out with your candy?
No, maybe, yeah, actually.
That's candy with an I, by the way.
It's delicious is what it is. It's delicious candy. See, you're eating candy and I have other small things to put in my mouth. I have grapes.
Phrasing?
Nom. Just tiny little grapes. Nom nom nom. Nom nom nom. Anyway, yeah. Grape flavored. No, Hannah, no. No.
Yes, Hannah.
No. Anyhowsen, things have happened. Woo! And here we are. It is almost the end of January. That is bananas, yo. It's days away, and we are already off to the races.
Away.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So I don't count days. I still count today, but you correct. You correct. I don't really have anything announcement-wise. Anybody else have announcement-wise?
Nope.
Shut up. Grape flavored. I hate you all, but I love you very much.
I didn't
said
say
cherry
anything.
for the worst flavor.
I don't get the reference.
Oh my lord.
We'll tell you when you're older.
Yeah, this is above my generation.
That's it.
We're
Cypress is
kicking
getting killed tonight.
So that's it. We gotta kill off the youngest. It's just the weakest link. He's the runt of the family. It's just how it is.
That's what my not quite moms said.
Oh, je ne sais quoi. I love you. Okay. Let's go ahead and get started with tonight's episode. Unless anybody else has any announcements to get into. I don't think. No, not really.
Not yet.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're off to the races. Let's do this. Woo!
succeed.
Euphemism mode's
Yes.
always been for a long time a daily constitutional. So
Would a
Beautiful.
constipation check fall under strength?
Can I
or
willingly fail this
constitution?
save? No.
Daily Constitutional sounds like a newspaper about pooping.
Well, what a beautiful time to come back. Join us for our next Lord Dumplings as we take
Lord Dumplings, huh?
Oh, damn it. I did this
This is
to
what happens when we
myself.
take a week off.
Oh, no.
Delightful. Did we call that Lord Dumplings episode Shits and Giggles?
Yes.
Oh, very good.
Oh, my God. Okay.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. I don't know why it's playing the creepy music. Let's not do the creepy music.
You know why.
What? There's nothing happening.
There's nothing happening. This is slightly better, but only slightly. All right, where are we? Last time on Game of Santos.
Nope.
Oh, I didn't even. Oh man,
Was that not a bit?
that was not a bit. That was straight up like.
Let's go.
Thank you for retroactively having me as part of your
Yeah.
Game of Santos campaign.
You have exactly
I
13
forgot
seconds.
to write up a character.
I know you have 13 seconds. You got to figure it out.
Wild barbarian rogue.
Okay, there you go. Perfect. The low light of the chamber is split between the warmth of the torches in the room and the pale light of the moon as it is brilliantly lit from the balcony in the walled garden that lies beyond. The general lays in his bed, a sleeping form at his side, as he stares out at the balcony, lost in thought. A shift in the covers as the form moved barely and causes maybe a slight eye to move over before the General Ares, carefully gets up and quietly strides to the balcony, leaning over it with crossed arms. His mind shivers as the presence of another is felt within it, and Hecate's voice speaks to him in a language that has been dead for quite some time. You should know, the young Orphix we sent to investigate stumbled upon Kret Aan, said Hecate, in her delicate and forget that noise. I was gonna say precise pronunciation, but even I couldn't say it, so whatever. What? Isn't that within the realms of Poseidon and his progeny? He asks with more than a hint of tension at first. Are they, do you believe that they have been compromised? There is a moment's hesitation before Hecate answers. The words he has placed around him prevent me from seeing if he is or not. But the sea has not risen against us, so it is safe to assume not. But I do fear that the silence I have received on his part means that our worry is warranted. Someone went there, and something went wrong. I've found it difficult to believe that this upstart cult of Phobos would have the resources needed to make this journey. And thankfully, from the scrying on our young ones, it indeed is a little more complicated, but at least the cult is not involved directly. Shall I await for you to clothe yourself, or... Ares stands tall at the balcony's edge. That was the only answer he was going to give. With unsettling ease, Hecate appears from the tendrils of blackened mist that pool from shadows around him. She must have been close and hidden somewhere in the garden below, he assumed, yet even he had not spied from where. With a raised eyebrow over towards the bed and the still sleeping form therein, Hecate appraises Ares up and down once with amusement before speaking with a soft whisper. Along their journey so far, they've come across a splinter of him. Just enough to be fully sentient, yet not fully aware of who or where it is. They dispatched it. A point for them. Following the path of destruction led them to Cretan, however, which is no longer submerged. Ares' eyes widened at the implications, and she continues. The Atlas engine has been reactivated after a fashion, which means someone was there that tampered with it. And it would explain the reemergence of Phobos onto the scene. The Orphics have made their way to the colony and undoubtedly are going to uncover most everything that could have been buried there. Ares immediately starts to turn on his heel and begins to move to his armor where it sits in a pile by the bed. But Hecate grabs his arm. Ares, we cannot make a move yet. I have made contacts outside of Poseidon. Even Hades and Athena have been told. But we cannot risk moving. Not yet. He stops, begrudgingly, knowing she was right. If the splinter still lurks, they will have to find it. But it must be them first. That's the only way we will have a chance at this now. At least until we get more answers of what we are going to be dealing with. Ares pulls his arm away from her and grabs the helmet that sits next to his on the bench and stared at the hazed reflection of himself in it. More than a single lifetime flashes across his mind. He turns back to where Hecate was, only to find nothing but fading, shifting tendrils of smoke and shadow. Oh, right. Meanwhile, not too far away, several hundred miles. Those of you who are here, let me see here. Well, if I remember correctly, the way we left things off, Penthos was running towards these spider-like things that were crawling creepily and quickly towards where they were after the power had been reset or restarted here in this small colony. Laertes, you were at the doorway where last they had seen Phoebe and Themisto enter, I believe.
I was going to stay on the path.
Okay.
And I was going to do something else to get their attention rather than
Sweet.
veering off.
Awesome. Okay. And then Astrid and Cypress, were you weren't with Themisto and Phoebe yet, right? You were going that direction?
Yeah.
You had been heading back, and you had seen, I think, I'm trying to remember if we had covered the fact that you had seen like the quick movement, now the lights that have been turned on across the way.
We
Correct?
accidentally turned stuff on.
We had felt the unease. That's what he said.
Okay. Ah, yes. Okay, sweet. Well, then, in that case, let us begin.
Roll for initiative.
Could I have done one thing before we get into initiative, if that's
Sure.
where we're heading?
Yeah.
Where I think Themisto and Phoebe are, Is there a door or okay? Is it open or is it okay? I guess then I would be just hurling some sort of gravitational anomaly to just sort of rattle the door on its hinges as best I can, attempting to get their attention. While just yelling their names as I'm not trying to keep pace with Penthos as much as I'm not trying to get him too far away.
On that note, would you like to see the map?
Yes, please.
Here we go.
I would like to know where my character's going to be buried.
Oh, don't worry, it won't be here.
You don't have to know where you die to know where you go.
Ooh.
So let me do. Oh, hold on. Let me do a little flyby. Release. So move. Thank you. Oh shoot. Oops. I pressed the button on the keyboard. Ah. All right, we're good. So we have Penthos and Laertes within this room back here. Themisto and Phoebe. And then
Sandra and Renan.
oh yeah, lurking in the corners of the universe out there, just on the other side of space-time. I have Cypress and Astrid outside right now, but as you look down the ruins,
Dude,
You did such a
Very
good
nice.
job,
Oh my
Aaron.
God.
Groovy.
we have
Oh, there's the spiders.
some spiders.
I
Oh, that's
so
what.
hard if one of them just started moving on their own. Right
Wait, I was like, I didn't put that one there. Oh no, that's terrible.
Why does that
Post
one have a
picture
red
or
mark on its
flyby
back?
Of this in the Discord.
Oh, absolutely.
So we
yeah,
can
I
savor
did.
it later.
Yeah, I took some pictures earlier when I built it, and then, but yeah, I will do another one. I was
What if
hoping
Aaron
it's too.
was- What if
What?
Aaron said, I didn't put any spiders on it?
Bro, what spider? What you talking about? Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Oh, Elvie's gonna have a nightmare when she clicks in tonight.
That's okay. Hopefully they'll be dead by then. I did.
Us?
Yes.
Yes. That's great. That's great. I'm gonna put this here.
Elvie's going to have a heart attack when she finds out we're not dead yet.
Dang.
So you're gonna just play
well.
this on a loop
That's okay.
when Greg's asleep tonight, right?
No, because I need to sleep tonight.
Yep.
I was like, I love you, babe. Don't watch the first half.
Never do.
Okay.
Wait, what?
Okay.
So I get
w-
to tell him about it at midnight when he tries to fall asleep. Every week.
Babe,
no.
you ever heard of sea
Fun-time
spiders?
You guys are the worst, but also the
crabs,
best.
but on land.
Okay. So we'll say that yes, you as the door rattles, Themisto and Phoebe, you do hear the old door that you had like moved in a little bit, and kind of because it had been very difficult, if I remember, to kind of squeeze through there, but it rattles on its hinges, and you hear the. I mean, it's very quiet in this place, so it's not hard to hear the rustling of someone running up, and then all of the ensuing
As I'm yelling
noise.
their names. And
Yeah, everything else is it is startling. So, was there something else you said you wanted to do, or was that it?
No, that was
felt
just like the pre-initiative
Okay.
thing. If you'd let me do it. So
Yeah.
That's all good.
All right. So then, in that case, thought I had loaded this already. All right, there it goes. Round encounter. Let's go. Roll for initiative.
Map cam. Oh my god.
Oh Lord.
Let's go D20. I love you. Oh, it doesn't love me back.
Map Cam said no.
You're just mad because I've been using my red evil DM dice. You're mad at me.
Yeah, probably. All right, everything's reloading because I forgot to turn the effects on. All right, so Astrid, what do we got?
Let's That's going to be a 7.
Sweet. Phoebe. Oh, I put
30
77.
20.
Nice.
I put 77.
30,
Some-
20. Oh my god.
Themisto.
4.
4.
Tonight's stream is brought to you by the number 4.
Oh no.
Laertes.
16.
Beautiful. Cypress.
5.
5.
Tomorrow's episode brought to you by the number 5.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And
Thank you,
these-
+2 in my initiative.
Right. Okay.
What did
First.
Penthos get?
Yeah, harsh. Dude.
Oh, dude. It's because you're not. Yes. Nope.
Yeah,
nope, nope.
because I'm not a part of the cast, is what you're saying. Not a part of the family.
No. No. Penthos, what did you
It's
get?
just because you're not supposed to be here. 15.
Beautiful.
Never mind what the sad boy got.
Oh, that's
Always forgotten.
no.
Always the bridesmaid.
Well, he is something blue.
Oh no.
That was on me. That was on purpose.
All right, Penthos, since you had already started with you running that direction, you can see where they are at.
Yep.
Well
Ask
enough.
a question.
Yeah.
Is there one that is bigger than the others? Like in a more leadership?
No. They're all gonna look about the same size. Some look bigger, some look smaller, but they're all about the size of a poodle.
Oh, wow.
Like
Great.
a little poodle
There's
or
a lot of
those
variation
big
in poodle
boys?
size.
Yeah, I have a poodle now.
Word.
About the size.
About the size. Okay, fine. A
Pretty
Dalmatian.
Oh, okay, okay.
Are you sure something?
That's big.
Well, just call me Cruella.
Time
Beautiful.
to skin 'em.
So, you
Well, they
are-
do that themselves, actually.
Yeah,
Spiders.
Oh God. Anyway, yes. Penthos, what are you doing? You're running forward. You started to rage. Now you can see where they're at. What is your movement speed?
40.
All right, sweet. So from entrance,
40 speed. Goodness.
they can get you like right to this like little broken bridge thing. And does this kind of be in the way? I think this is gonna be in the way. Just move this.
Okay, I'm at the broken bridge. How high is the bridge?
About 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. Can I jump and swat that guy off of there, like into the river? How deep is the river, by the way?
Like knees or less. It's not really deep.
Oh,
It's just
never
more of
mind.
like a stream or anything.
Yeah,
Or some-
I'll attack this first one and try to perch up there, as in like
Sure.
make myself the most obvious.
Oh, this is where I made my boo boo.
Aaron, gotta say, the fact that we could see the individual lines of the river you drew actually adds a lot of artistic. It looks very nice.
Thanks. I'm embarrassed as hell, but you know. God, I
Looks
meant to do
nice.
this today was look for the little sticky stuff.
There's spiders right there.
Yeah. Pull on their butts.
Yeah, like tissue paper. Just
Yep. Lord.
I don't like this.
Okay.
it gets worse.
Yeah. I'm gonna put
We're
some.
just getting this fight started.
All right, we're gonna see if you can tape up there. You big
I'm very
boy, you.
strong, so I assume I can jump up there pretty easily.
Sure. Yeah. No, it was more of I'm just trying to get you to not fall off. All right.
That's nice.
What you doing? Smack
Attacking recklessly.
it recklessly.
So reckless. You're a loose cannon, Penthos.
Oh, that was so close to a nat 20. Okay, 21 to hit.
That hits.
Okay, so... Oh, that's a great roll. Plus, I have... It's like... It's not sneak attack, it's stealth attack? Something like that. Hold that thought. Okay. So the feature is called Surprise Attack. If you hit a creature that has not taken a turn yet in the current combat with an attack roll, it takes an extra 2d6 damage. So overall, that is 24 damage.
So you take your is it not a maul? Like
It is a maul.
It is a maul.
technically, yeah.
Okay, I was thought for whatever reason I was going maul or morning star, but yes. So you take your maul, and you just like as you leap up in the air, land on the bridge, and whack downwards. You see now up close that as this thing had just like scuttled over from one side to the other towards you as you had run up to it, it had started to rear back like it was gonna get ready to like at you. You see that these things are not spiders. They are like they are masses of what looks like blackened tar that move like by shooting out pieces of tendril. Like it's almost like watching a very fast moving an anemone is probably not the right term, but like something with a lot of like almost like an octopus, but if the whole body of the octopus was covered in arms, and as one pulls, another one from its back kind of retracts into itself and shoots forward. So it's kind of like quickly grabbing at everything, but it gives the appearance of a what?
An amoeba?
An amoeba? Yeah, I guess kind of like very amoeba-like,
More
but
tendrily?
but more tendrily. So it just kind of pulls itself along, and its movements are so quick that it looks like it's walking on legs, but in fact it's just like pulling, retracting into itself, and just kind of like as it like comes forward. You smash that thing, and the black ooze just goes across the ground as you smash it out of existence with that 24 damage.
Do I have enough movement to get to the next one?
No.
Is there something I can like throw, like a piece of the broken bridge or something at one of them? I have a javelin, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
19, because
Okay.
I don't think reckless affects things I can throw.
I'm gonna make this a little taller so it doesn't hit all of the
That is 9
terrain.
damage to the one closest.
this one over here.
Yeah, one
We'll do
one that's
this,
a little bit
like,
harder to get.
This is B,
Yeah.
C, D, E, F, N, G
Well-
back here.
We'll go B.
Okay. B. This one is toast. Taking all that damage.
And I will let out like a guttural roar, essentially.
And you said 9 damage there. Sweet. All right.
That's
Is
it.
that-
Thanks, bud.
You're welcome. All right. So since you had already started with that movement as you were running, we'll start the turn order. Laertes, what were you gonna say?
Is this 8 hours or more since the boat crash?
Nah.
No?
Not really.
Okay.
It's
I
been
did actually have
it's all with the same day, but it's not been quite 8 hours.
Okay. Because I have something to add to my initiative,
Okay.
just in case that changes anything. I rolled max, so it's a 24 is my initiative.
All right. Sweet.
It was the gift of alacrity. I get to roll it.
Yeah.
So I rolled it just as we were going over the
That's right.
waterfalls.
That's right.
Um,
Okay, so that maybe pushes you to first in the initiative order. What are you
Okay.
doing?
how close can I get to that bridge?
What's your movement speed?
30.
So 30 would put you right where my thumb is at. So like right up here.
Ooh, okay. So I believe what I can do is... Alright, I don't need to get that close. I just want to get whatever the greatest clumping of spooters.
From your line of sight, I will say you can probably see that there's some over here on this on the other side of the
Okay.
on the underside. So whatever you're firing goes like through that broken bridge. Because even though it's like a rock, it's kind of like a crumpled debris that's just kind of like fallen over.
Okay. I will go for that one in the middle next to the tree, I guess, because I think
There's that one.
Yeah, that one, I guess, because it sort of
there's
seems like there's
these
a bunch
two.
around him.
Yeah, there's two right there, and then there's one on top of this wall that's kind of they've skittered up on the side of the wall going.
Okay. So is there any within 10 feet of that?
Actually,
If I can just do a little 10-foot radius, I believe.
yeah, you can get 3 in there total.
Okay. I will attempt to go for that then, as I just sort of I guess I can't quite see that they're that non-ferrous black liquid thing from here, but I can just see that they're a threat.
Right.
I'm just going to try and pinch and compress reality around them and just sort of try and shear it apart. Trying to send all that muck apart from itself as they all gotta make a con save.
B, C, D, E, F, G.
Not great. Won't hit that button.
Con save, you said?
Yes.
This one is a 5.
Mhm.
This one in the center is another 5. This one at the top of this thingy is a 9. So they all fail.
Okay. They don't take much, but they all take 6 force damage. And all their speed is halved until the end of its next turn. So I don't know if you want to put a marker on them.
Their speed is halved, and what else?
They took 6 points of damage.
Okay, just and then
force.
speed is halved. Okay.
Yes.
Don't really have anything that will sit on them, so we'll just remember those 3 back there. That's fine. Okay. That ends your turn.
Yeah. Can I get up on that rock? That's, I guess, towards.
Oh, here.
No, I don't want to
Or
get that close. The one that's like
that's
more
one-
to the bottom of the camera.
One that's right next to you over here.
Yeah. Assuming that won't screw my line of sight too much. I'll just fall down and die and break because I'm made of candy glass.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, but that's it for me.
Okay. Phoebe, it is now your turn.
I would like to run out. I have a movement of 40 feet.
Beautiful. Okay. Also, say you're in the center. 20. So get you right out here.
Okay, how far away am I from the closest spider?
Considering that you heard the noise and them calling you, running out to see what it is, you can make a perception check to see what the fuss is about, I would say. But I guess as you're running, you can see that they are doing something in that direction, so you can have advantage on it.
Sorry, advantage on what?
Perception.
I was reading a thing. Perception. I have to make a
No,
perception before I could do things.
Yeah.
Okay. Natural 20.
All right, sweet. You look over just as you see this warbling mass of energy kind of erupt from Laertes as it like goes across, and you follow his line of sight where it's tracking. You see these what look like spider-like creatures moving that direction, and you see the air around them just kind of like, it almost looks like broken glass, but gets pulled apart and then shoved back together again. It's almost, you hear the grinding of like stone, and it's like almost like fingernails on chalkboard, just kind of like as it comes back and forth.
I think to myself, Laertes is so cool.
But now, yes, you do see where they are.
I would like to spend a key point to Step of the Wind
Sweet.
from a bonus action, and then from an action, now that I should be close enough.
Yeah, what is that, another 40?
Yep, another 40.
5, 10, 30, 35, 40. That gets you into the water right there.
I would like to Radiant Sunbolt at that little spider right beside the bridge.
On this side, this one's gonna be out of sight, but you can see the ones that are directly
Okay.
in.
As long as I'm within 30 feet of one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, that should be. I believe. Oof, no. Let me see. How
I can't see that. Was that one on top of the
Oh,
bridge?
you know
I thought
what?
it was-
Yeah, this one's further back. There's these, and it's like directly on the back side of the bridges. It hasn't
Okay.
climbed up yet. There's this one that Penthos just threw a javelin at. So
Oh, is it on top of the? It's blending into the thing with
Yeah.
me. Okay.
yeah,
Then I will shoot some sunlight up at that Joker
yeah. because
for
there's two up here.
23,
23 hits.
and that's going to be 9 points of radiant damage.
Beautiful. You see the javelin as it sticks into the creature, and it sticks into like a little bit of stone and vine that is there. It doesn't seem pinned. It just kind of pulls itself through it, and it leaves behind like little bits of black tar as it like starts to clamber over to the side of the wall. And you blast another sunlight, or you blast that sun bolt at it, and a good portion of it just kind of scatters and sizzles. And it's kind of like when you watch steel wool burn. It just kind of goes bzzz, like that in little pieces as it goes everywhere. But it seems to now just be smaller than its larger size. So it just kind of like
Now it's
whatever.
like a Yorkie.
Yeah, now it's like a smaller poodle. Yes, so
That is my turn.
Okay, sweet. Now it is Penthos's turn. Now that this is part of the irregular initiative, you just threw a javelin over here, and I'm just gonna move this whole freaking wall. You can sit right there, buddy. So you see that there is one creature that's starting to come up this side right there.
I'll go after that one, please.
Sweet.
I'm gonna slide down the bridge, kind of using my maul to grind on to gain some momentum for a big swing as I attack.
You doing it like
recklessly.
Legolas on the Oliphant style?
Yes, I am. You get me.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Make your strike.
Oh, wow. 26 to hit. Let me just-
26. That definitely hits.
He has not gone yet, so that also gets the surprise attack.
Correct.
15 damage.
All right, sweet. Cool. What else?
21 to hit for the next one.
Okay, that also hits.
And then, without the extra damage, 16 damage.
Oh yeah, it's gone. How would you like to smash it? Or what would you like to do with this one?
It's more so not fully comprehending the, what would you call it, like genetic makeup of these things, like the biology.
Right.
And so just smashing it and having this like black tar kind of really like not even dripping on his face, it's just like corroded in all the fur, but looking at the other ones as if like to intimidate them, but kind of realizing they're not really capable of being intimidated. There's something else, something extra planar.
Yep.
So there's mostly ferocity, like 95%, but 5% worry of like, what did we step into, kind of thing. I'll use the rest of my movement, if I have any, to close the gap with the one further down the river. As far as I can go.
This one over here?
Yeah.
Sweet. Let's see. I'm gonna say this was 5 and 10. Since you were sliding, we'll give you a little bonus, like Fortnite movement there. 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 or 35?
40.
Oh, so yeah, it puts you right up next to it.
Okay, great.
Beautiful.
That's it. Thank you.
Dope. Okay. that now begins all of their turns collectively. All right, this poodle is going to leap off this side and go towards the thing that. What's the movement on this baby? It's also 30 feet. All right, so it gets you up to her. This one is now going to just run down into the water here.
And
Sir.
drown.
And the one that got up to Phoebe is going to, in its tiny form, try and leap at you. Actually, and it's like you expecting teeth to go like, or like mandibles or like that sort of thing to like go at you, but instead you see its legs kind of just like retract within it, and then it kind of just like shoots those out at you instead. Oh, that's a 24 to hit. Okay.
Let's go ahead.
No. But that's only 5 points of piercing damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Cool. It's only a 6.
Okay.
Poisoned?
You do have, poison damage. It's only 5 points though.
Do I have the poison condition as well?
For fail, no.
Okay.
No, you're no poison condition. It is just, you can just feel that it kind of burns and sizzles in your skin. It's kind of got that acid like sizzle and burn that just kind of fades away. It doesn't continue to burn. It's just that immediate stab point.
Gotcha. So that was 5 piercing and 5 poison?
Correct. Then there's 2 that are there with Penthos. So that's 2 bite attacks there.
You have advantage.
Okay. One is going to be a 24.
Yeah.
And the other one is going to be a 17.
Yeah.
Okay. One bite is going to be 7 points of piercing damage. And then the second bite is 10 points of piercing damage. With Constitution saving throw, if you please.
$19.
All right, so that's only going to be 5 points of poison damage altogether, because they are halved.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. This one. Ooh. This one is going to run. Those 2 were the ones that were closest to you. This one is going to run up, and this one is going to run up. So there are those 2 more. I guess I should have done all of those as well. Oh no, that is a really bad 7 with advantage. That one missed altogether. And this one's a 23. Okay, so that one will hit.
Who are you attacking?
You. Again, it's just the 2 more. That's the last 2 that were in the back. So there was 4 of them that are all together. They moved forward.
23.
So it's just 4 points of piercing. And
down to 2 because I'm raging.
Yeah. And then that's only 2 points of poison damage because I'm just going to use the same Constitution save from before.
Okay.
Just for simplicity's sake. All right. That's all of those monkeys. Freaking Khalil. Love it. I love it. All right, let me see if I can adjust it this way. There we go. It is now Astrid's turn. You see and hear down the way, as you can see Penthos running out from the doorway. You see Laertes following behind and like firing off this magic down the path of the river. You see the movement of something in the distance. You could, if you take movement and dash, it would put you right where everybody's at right now. If you want to. You're muted, by the way.
Where am I at currently?
Where are you at currently? Off the
Yeah.
map camera.
Off the map.
Yeah.
If I'm looking down the length of the river,
Mhm.
and my longbow can do 150 feet of like range.
Ooh.
Can I try to hit that spider that's crawling on the side of the rock? That's attacking.
That's over here, Phoebe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Go for it.
Okay, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll use the rest of my movement to head that way. 16 to hit.
That does hit.
Then that'll be 6 points of damage. And then I'm going to activate.
Wait, hold
Oh,
on.
go ahead.
That was okay. How do you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It only had 2 hit points left, so
We'll say as it goes in for a bite to Phoebe, the arrow will like pierce through its head, and it just kind of falls limp and hits the side of the rock
okay.
or the bridge.
Yeah. So as you take those couple of stabs, Phoebe, from it, and you see it like poise itself up like it's trying to get ready to do another one, an arrow just comes whizzing past you and strikes it and like notches it into the rock, and like makes it kind of. It shoots through it, and you see the arrow kind of more careens off the rock and like ricochets, then because it just kind of pierced through the rest of the body, and it just becomes pudding on the side of the rock that just kind of like
Astrid in like a Zack Snyder slow-mo moment. It definitely just like takes all of her hair and it's just like red eye.
Oh, that's cool.
I love that. Beautiful.
As a bonus action, she's going to activate Archer.
Okay.
And then that will like infuse with constellation like void growing out of her fingers tips and outward towards her bow and like spreading outwards onto that, and that will then become like her guiding bolt, bow / actual bow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. I love it.
Ley lines that cross the bow itself as they move and constellations follow, kind of thing. Yeah, that'll be my turn. Then I'll run towards them.
Beautiful. Okay, so next up is Cypress.
I believe, yeah, way back.
Yeah, you're still. We'll
Uh,
put Astrid right at, like, with movement, getting right up there. So yeah, movement and dash will get you on the map, unless you have something particular you would like to do.
That spider by Phoebe, I believe that
Oh,
is.
that
is
one's
that-
this one's gone. Yeah.
Is there another one within 120 feet?
There
There's
is one
one
that's
under the
coming.
bridge.
Yeah, there's one on the bridge that's coming through.
Awesome. I will try to. Cypress will attempt to emulate his ally and do another cool projectile by Phoebe's head.
It's just like
Phoebe, you're now at the fair, and people are throwing axes at the apple that's on your head.
Actually, probably a pretty good gig for a monk in a carnival.
Yeah.
She can also catch him.
No, go for
if
it.
you hit me, I can't catch it.
Cypress first will channel divinity, and with a reflash of pink with accented gold sparkles, you see him suddenly define as if he were entering Saiyan mode. Without any of the screaming or buildup, just that kind of
Yeah, that's like 3
It
episodes
doesn't work
later.
if you don't do the screaming.
yeah. And his hair flowing back in a wind that's not there. He will chuck a javelin at that spider, which is beyond the safe range for this javelin, but it is within range.
Okay.
So disadvantage, I believe. Does a 12 hit?
12? 12 misses, unfortunately.
Darn. Oh well. And yeah, I will
It strikes the water and at the creature, and the creature like right in front of it, and you see the creature just kind of like use it as it wraps the tendrils around the shaft of the javelin and starts climbing up of it like it's about to leap off from the javelin that you threw.
Gotcha. Long jumping. That is not a bonus action, right? It's just part of the movement.
I don't know. I don't think I've ever had anybody launch before.
Well, my long jump is doubled when I'm in my athletic mode, so I believe I can clear 40 feet. So I will, due to the fact that when you're making a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 foot on foot immediately before you jump, and that jumping distance is doubled. So if I move 10 feet,
yeah,
I can then jump 36 feet.
Okay, so we'll just
Which is
round it
just
to 35.
under 40 feet.
Yeah, we're under the 35. That's pretty dope. And that doesn't count towards your movement?
It does use the movement.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the 10 feet. Does it count towards movement?
Either way, each foot you clear on the jump costs a foot of movement. But let me
so it's the same.
real quick reference my own thing for the jumping, because I'm pretty sure that is what it does.
That's fair. They're still moving in this direction, but that's good to keep in mind. As you see Themisto, as you see Astrid stop and fire off from her bow, you basically like jump from the ground, like voing, going closer towards the destination. While you look that up, Themisto, it is your turn.
Distance of your long and high jumps increases by 10 feet. Extra distance costs movement as normal. Oh,
okay.
So I guess I don't jump extra movement.
It's just yeah.
Okay, but
heard.
Cool. 30 feet then.
Themisto,
darn.
It is your turn.
Themisto is going to have grounded her pack, made of wood frame and cloth, and that's why she's taken so long to get out to the fight.
Nice.
And now that that's gone, got her shield ready to go, her sword, she'll spin and head out there.
Sweet. All right. What's your movement speed?
My movement speed is the standard 30 feet.
30. Okay, so we'll get you right up to the door then. Unless you want to use your dash to get out there.
I suppose I could dash. Everyone else seems like they're well, Phoebe seems like she's treating it as pretty urgent. So sure, why not?
All right. 15, 30. And it puts you here at the foot of the rock with Laertes, and you see all this stuff. Actually, you know what's great is, as you will say that as you're running out of the door, there's an arrow that goes whoosh right past you, followed by a javelin whoosh, and you kind of follow that, and you see all of the things that just happened right now. What's anything else you're wanting to do, or you can do as like bonus? I guess bonus action is your option.
I suppose actually that the throwing of the javelin reminds me that I have a couple. So yeah, I imagine that they're like mounted there in like the little slot sideways on the shield on my side. So I'll take one of those.
Did anyone else's stream just crash, or is it just me?
Mine, I think, was fine.
Okay, it's me.
And mine just did too. So thank you. I did need to refresh it.
Me too.
And the little crescent scoop shape in the shield, she's gonna have it hoisted and then chuck it through.
All right, cool.
At
Dope.
the nearest spoder.
All
that
right.
I can see.
There will be the one that is under the bridge.
All right. Does a 19 hit?
19 does hit.
Neat. Actually, how far away is that spider?
From you, I think it's 40 feet.
Okay, so I actually need to roll at disadvantage because it's just a little bit too far away.
Okay.
And I know that a 12 doesn't hit, so it, um, Cypress's javelin just whiffs, I imagine.
As it
Another
goes
one
into
right
the,
by Phoebe's
into the
head.
widow, another one, and then another one that lands in the water. You see that this thing, as it's moving, looks like it's about to start using both the javelins to kind of keep itself out of the water as it like uses it to continue its path forward. Nice.
It's using our javelins like stilts.
Yeah, basically.
We've turned it into a daddy long legs.
Oh no.
All right, top of the round. We are at Laertes of Sagan.
This is where Themisto and
With
Cypress
Phoebe up
reveal
next.
they've been traitors this whole time.
Can you move the camera around? I'm trying to get a sense of what is even there to hit. Because there's nothing up on the walls anymore. That I can
Correct.
see.
Yeah, it'll just be the thing that has been dodging all of the javelins, and then you see that across the way over here, Penthos is engaged with 4 of those creatures that are currently harrying him.
Okay. Ugh. That is messy because I can't AoE with him at the center of it. I mean, I could. I don't think
I'm
I
gonna say
can.
you could.
Hinge would.
Do it.
Yeah, but no.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and take 2 of them away because I think I can angle this that it'll at least hit 2.
Sure.
I think. Does that make sense? Do you have one of
Yeah.
those?
What is
The
that? We're
10-foot
needing?
radius. I guess
Um,
20 feet across, right?
yeah, I think it's one of these on this side. Oh, don't go away from me. I need you to get closer to me. Come here. Ugh. Got it. All right. So yeah,
Yeah. All right.
you can kind of use geometry to get those 2 on this side.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. Did either of them look worse off than? I guess I can't really tell from here.
Not from here, not from this distance.
Okay. I guess I'd probably have to move down from the rock so I can kind of see through that little sort of druid gateway thing. And yeah, nothing is sent that way as much as the local space kind of just warps and twists in this misshapen bubble. And it's almost as if like the lights of the city and glittering off the water are sort of just dancing along this warping nexus surface as they gotta make another con save.
Beautiful. That'll be these ones at the bottom.
And I'm gonna do this at 2nd level.
That is going to be a 16 for one
Okay.
and a 6 for the other.
That's a lot of damage.
So 19 force damage.
Oh, both
And
of
then
them.
split in half.
How would you like to do this to both of them?
Oh. Yeah, it's just there's this sort of swirling sphere right next to Penthos that's picking up leaves, the water, and the creatures, whatever they are, and as they sort of get tumble dried through this vortex, they kind of just get thinner and thinner and thinner until that ferrous fluid there just dissipates and cannot sort of recoalesce.
Nice. You just what was it called? Bullet blendered like them into oblivion. Like turn them into salsa.
Math is scary.
Yeah.
Don't
Gravity.
tip,
tests, kids.
Yeah.
Stay in school.
Or
Gravity.
teacher will come and shred you.
All right, which 2 did he just blenderize?
These 2 that are right here.
Sweet.
Those
I
are
don't think
gone.
those spiders understood the gravity of this situation.
Disadvantage.
The space nor the time.
I guess I try to move up if I can.
math. Yeah, for sure. Where would you like to go?
If I can kind of just continue along the side of the wall rather than. So if I can just get on like to the next set of stone brick things.
Sure. It's over there. You get line of sight for the two that are left right there.
Yeah, not that I'll get a chance to, but
Yeah, you never know. There could be some misses involved.
Alright, that's it for me, I believe.
Some misses, some misters.
Right, Phoebe, it is now your turn.
Is there one right in front of me under the
Yep.
bridge?
Yep.
Cool.
It's still there.
And that's the one that like climbed up the javelin.
Yep. Hi.
I want to almost like baseball style with my quarterstaff.
Beautiful.
Hit it for the first one.
Do it.
Okay, that's only a 12, which I think misses.
That does miss.
Okay, well, I want to flurry of blows that joker. Okay, that is a dirty 20 for the first one,
That hits.
which is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And then an 11 doesn't hit.
No.
That's my turn.
Oh, okay. That's it. All right. Sweet.
Yeah, I was reading if something with a key point was a bonus action, and it is, so I can't do it.
Penthos, it is your turn. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
No, it's okay. As Penthos is raging with tears in his eyes, he's going to wind up and swing underhanded so that the siren song lyre goes through the river and is going to take that moment to connect with Lethe. And the ancestral protectors are going to activate and in a localized fashion turn the blue of the water into a very, very crisp, almost magical blue, like Laertes' eyes. And that's going to kind of like have a mist above the water a little bit.
Nice.
As I attack recklessly.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
22.
That hits.
Terrible damage. 9.
9. All right. You smash
That's-
half of this creature away.
17 to hit.
17 hits. Same creature.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And 13 damage.
That'll do it. Another one bites the dust.
Okay. I will impose myself between that one and the rest of the group.
Beautiful. All right. It is that one's turn. And it's going to make a it is going to rear back, and you see it kind of like all of the little legs. That sucks. All the little legs goes within itself, and then it shoots out what looks like more than half of its body size as it tries to do a web at you, but using this black tar-like substance to try and like grapple you to. It's like wrapping itself around you, but it rolled an 11. So I'm gonna as its tendrils try and wrap them and envelop themselves around you, you kind of let out a deafening roar. The magic of the swirling ancestral guardian spirits that kind of have changed this immediate space around you. For anybody that was close enough, I'm gonna say Laertes and Phoebe. There is the slightest, strangest reflection to the water where, as he roars, there is this. It's almost like you're seeing visions of other people roaring at the same time, like as the water shimmers, and it's just like this otherworldly presence that like shouts this webbing to oblivion. And that'll be that spider's very unfortunate turn. The other one that has been successfully like dodging around javelin, and I'm gonna say that even as you try and swing it like a bat with your quarterstaff, it like slips as it like is wrapping itself up one of the javelins, and just that's why you missed. So you're just like, it's not from any fault of your own, as it would have been dead on had it not like partially fallen off the wet javelin, and is now like rearing back around to try and attack with its unfortunate 11.
Get wrecked.
As the creature like fires off these tendrils at you again in quick succession, they all miss as you deftly dodge the attacks. Beautiful! It is now time for them to die, as it is Astrid's turn. And Astrid will say that with your movement, it'll put you up to right about there, full movement.
Okay. Shoot. I'm gonna have her, like, yeah, I'll have her use one of the guiding bolt things outward towards that spider that's under the bridge. Let's see. 120 feet. Yeah. Okay. Not 20.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Cool. That's a 26 to hit.
That hits for sure.
28 points of damage.
Are you shooting it at the one that was attacking me?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we double flavor it like this?
Yeah. Go
as it attacks me and I dodge, I want to just kind of like fling it off the edge of my quarterstaff, and that like puts it in the air for you to hit it with the arrow. With the guiding bolt, whatever you're doing.
All right. Like flick it off your quarterstaff and then
like
the arrow.
flick it up into the air as it like.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have Astrid like kind of jump like towards the river as she fires it off, so she can get a better shot. And you'll see like these twin arrows kind of meeting at a center point as it strikes the spider midair while it's like flipping off that quarterstaff.
Beautiful. Love it.
If that kills it, does it kill it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's toast.
It'll just completely turn into like starry crisp and just dissipates into the air, into nothingness.
Beautiful. Alrighty. That's dope. That leaves one last thing. Cypress. Full movement brings you onto the map right up here next to Astrid.
Now, I'm curious. Phoebe, you have redirect missile, right?
Mm-hmm. Why?
Oh
Can
no!
I throw you a javelin and you speed it on for me?
That would be a DM question.
I mean, this is nothing that.
It's a relay race.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Hold on.
Invented in ancient Greece.
No, I have deflect missiles. I don't have
Redirect, yeah.
Redirect yet. I think that's next level.
It'd be a bad time to find that out the hard way.
I mean, I can catch it. I just couldn't like spin it and keep it going.
Darn. Future reference.
That is going to be a great double team later.
Yeah.
Let me know the moment you have.
We'll do.
Are there any spiders in view? Is there only one left?
There's only one
that we
left.
can see? Well, I'll swing for the fences and just real upward throw javelin like you would in an Olympic event, going for distance.
What's the max distance that it has?
120 feet.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
it's within 120 feet.
So definitely very upward, like not at the spider at all.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Darn, that's a 4. So that becomes a 10.
Yeah, that misses. I'll say that Penthos, as you are over there, you're like roaring at this thing, and then like right next to you, a javelin just like whoosh into the mud and water.
Sorry!
At your side.
They're so far! And I'll just keep running onto the scene.
Okay. Dope.
Maybe the javelin got hit with the web.
Ooh.
Hmm.
Well, it is all the same turn. Maybe that helps. That helped. Yeah. All right. Themisto.
Themisto has thrown her one javelin already, so she's just going to walk forward.
All right. That should 30 feet. Right there. 10, 15, 20, 25. Like you going through the water this way, or want to go across or up the bridge, or what would you like to do?
Let's just march through the water.
All right. Excuse me. Grape went down wrong. All right. Dope. I guess that covers your turn. Yes. You want to do anything you want to do?
I'll go ahead and move since it was 40 feet away. I'll move 40 to go to my javelin and pick it up.
Oh yeah, you're right there where the javelin is. Yeah, there's 2 javelins there. If you want to grab 2.
If you let me grab 2, I'll grab 2.
I mean, you still have your action. That was just your movement, so.
I don't have a whole lot I can do right now. I'm going to save any spells that I'm having for healing after the fight.
All right, cool. Top of the round then, Laertes.
I can only see the one still moving about. This sort of jiggling non-Euclidean mass of awfulness over here, and then the monster next to it. Suddenly the river gets slightly higher. The levees, they're not holding.
I'm
Yeah,
all the way
I'm
back
just-
here and I'm sad.
I see this thing that's kind of been harrying him for a while, and I just trying to reach forward and latch onto all the gravitational force around it and try and slam it into the tree right behind. As I make a spell attack. 13, does that hit?
That misses.
Oh, well.
Just miss. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to do?
I'll get up on the bridge,
Okay.
and I guess I'll just do another cursory scan to see if there's anything else around.
Sure.
I don't want to be on there because it sort of seems like that's a high travel area. Yeah, so just more.
Stay. Ah! It was the slow
I said
fall
he was
for me.
gonna die young.
It was the slow fall for me. All right, cool. Make a perception check for me.
Why, Aaron? Why?
Because I asked.
Oh, I thought it was something else was coming.
16.
Quickly scanning the surrounding area, you see all the little lights that are now on, but you don't see any further movement.
Okay. That's it for me.
Alrighty, cool. Phoebe, it is now your turn.
I would like to take one step up right next to Themisto, and I would like to do some sunbolting.
Okay,
Okay, that is a 17.
that hits.
That is 7 points of radiant damage.
Beautiful.
Still
Whack.
kicking.
Yeah. It's got, what the fuck just fell? Ah!
An actual spider.
I don't know what just hit my arm. Anyway, it's fine. Yeah. Yes. That it's okay.
If it's still kicking, then I will flurry of blows. So that is a 26.
That hits.
That is another 7 points of radiant damage.
How would you like to do this?
I want the sunbolt to hit it right in the middle and just burn it from the inside out.
Nice. It like rears back, seeing its web diffused and blocked by this incoming spear or the javelin. And as Penthos rears down to roar at it, it like rears back like it's about to try and imitate him and roar back. You even see Penthos, its shape change to become almost more humanoid in a small fashion. It's just like it starts to imitate what you look like, and then it gets hit by that bolt and like knocks it backwards onto the river as it like tumbles and just kind of spins apart into its many pieces of sunbolty goodness. And it is gone. And for the time being, it seems that I dropped it right on Astrid and
Flying spiders.
Flying spider, and you die. But yes, I even have this. All right. Taking a moment as all of you guys are standing around this surrounding area, quiet as it started, becomes quiet once again.
Phoebe's
So
arm
not
is
ordinary
acid.
spiders then. Go ahead, Phoebe.
I was just gonna say Phoebe's arm is acid damaged pretty bad.
Ooh.
The mister will notice since she's right next to you. Um, Here, I have something for that.
Check on I can't remember any of your names because they're all really weird words. Check on Penthos first. He might need this more than I.
And she'll nod and head through the water towards Penthos.
You will approach almost at the same pace as the light blue illumination of the river is receding, almost like into his ankles.
Penthos, it seems you took the brunt of that. Are you wounded?
He'll be facing away from you, and if you've ever seen somebody like breathe with their like full torso, you know, just like really in the shoulder blades. I am fine. Take care of her. I can take it.
Insight.
Hey, I'll give it to you for free. He can absolutely take it. Like, this
Okay.
is more an emotional, like, upheaval than anything physical. Like, he looks
Medicine
great.
check. How's he doing?
Do you want a number? Like,
I guess is he
I could do a
physically
quick math.
wounded?
barely.
Okay.
But he's also like kind of this hulking furry mass, so even if he was, it's kind of hard to tell.
In that case, yes, but it might not be hulking furry masses, but I am trying to heal people, so perhaps I can tell. But I did just roll an 11, so I'm going to take your word for it, and respecting Penthos's wish, and I will rotate back and heading through the river again. I'm going to at this point. Well, we'll do that later. I'll go back to Phoebe. 'Cause he seems like he's going to be all right, or at least he doesn't need my help right now. So Here.
I'll just kind of lean around you for a second, stare at Penthos. If he says so, and I'll hold up my arm.
Themisto will take your arm in one hand underneath and take the flat of her blade and set it across the acid wound. And you will see that familiar leaves and blossoms kind of flower off of the sword and fall gently past your arm. And when she picks up the blade, the wound is at least somewhat healed. We'll see how gone it is in just a minute as I roll to heal you. Casting Cure Wounds at first level
Nice.
for a total of 9 points of healing.
I'm just 1 point away from max now.
Hey.
So it still looks a little red maybe, but otherwise it's looking good.
It's good as new.
Yeah, well, it will be soon.
Lord. Okay. Laertes, go for it.
If they were
Mhm.
done, I didn't want to interrupt. Seeing that everyone is seemingly taken care of and Penthos is fine with whatever happened, I'm gonna let that lie, and I want to crouch down to the squelching puddle of what remains of one of these creatures, if there is anything, and
The
try to examine.
pudding. You're getting close to the pudding.
That's where the proof is.
Oh,
That is what I'm looking for. So
I don't like anything that just happened.
Squelch.
There actually is like a little plastic cup now sitting there.
Jello
Peel it.
pudding is just sitting there. I don't know.
Please let this moment be over.
Beautiful.
this beautiful, serene, colonistic landscape ruined by pudding cups.
Amazing.
Who threw this away?
It's a consumerist metaphor. This entire campaign.
Brandon Lee Mulligan, is that you with your anti-capitalist ring?
Disposable plastics were the true villain this entire time.
A lot of
I
regrettable
mean, they're
words.
made out of these little like micro bead, microplastic things. So
I'm gonna say that as you do get to where there is still some of this oozing mass left, it's starting to flake away and evaporate, and it doesn't take a history check to know that you have seen something like this before. You have seen this effect on a creature as it died, as it's like evaporated into nothingness.
a few times at this point, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was back at the city, in Ilum,
Yep.
with that, and then on that beach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Considering it also kind of had that sort of odd liquidity to it, did it look the same but just lesser, or did it look like something else entirely?
You haven't seen it do this before.
Mm-hmm.
So this looks like something new to you, but it doesn't fall far from what you have seen before. So this is like seeing something familiar, but you're like, well, that's new, but it still looks familiar in the same sense.
But in a way that's new but almost lesser in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's comparatively quite easy and, lovely. Is it all kind of just melting away entirely, or?
The little bits that are that were left that weren't in the water that kind of dissolved or burned away quickly, yeah, they're all kind of having that same like this like slowly falls away in the air.
I'm going to try and speed up that process and just through sort of an off-brand use of prestidigitation, just kind of clean up. Oh, what am I missing now?
Just reach out later.
Nothing. Don't pay attention.
Just fucking talk. Oh, I'm gonna
Because
murder
I'm
you.
I'm just looking at Iskra right now, and I rarely see her lose it this bad.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. Just keep we're going.
Yeah,
Everyone-
I'm just going to speed up that entropy and have it
Sorry.
erode as quickly as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Using the
So I can
prestidigitation or
re-chat.
whatever is left over is quickly kind of the same way. Kind of the same. You just
You
have
need to go to break.
Oh, Hannah.
Do we need to send a wellness check on Iskra? Or
That was beautiful. Okay. Yeah, you pull it apart rather easily. What little bits aren't already gone.
okay, that's all I want to do.
Alrighty. Hannah says we're gonna have to factory reset you, Iskra. Probably.
Don't worry, my thing does not need the
Beautiful.
misto.
Beautiful. What would you like to do?
I was just gonna say, if you'll allow, when the fight settles, Ladon will poke his head out from Phoebe's copious amounts of hair on the side that the javelin went by, and just kind of stare at Astrid a little like, watching you.
Astrid would have run up, and she would have run up, coming. I'm sorry. I turned on the. I pressed the button and where the windmill was, and all of the lights came on. I didn't know that it was going to cause something like this.
We're okay now. Plus, we have something incredible to show all of you.
Okay.
Maybe it's somewhere we can rest as well. I don't know about you, but I could use some rest.
Yeah, I'm sure we all could.
Penthos, what would you like to say?
Any insights that Penthos has after being in like direct contact with the substance?
Um,
I think he's going to, pick it up while it's still kind of weird and goopy and let it like fall through his fingers like into the river.
that little bit that's left, and as it starts to like drip through your fingers, it doesn't even make it back to the water as it like begins to just fall flake. It's kind of weird because it like dries out immediately, and then that dry becomes like ash, and the ash becomes this fine dust that just kind of like disappears into nothing.
Actually, let me re-specify my question, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I think this will be more aligned. Penthos has had a vision of something that looked biologically like this, but
Right.
more massive. So this is like a tangibility to something
That he had seen.
faith-based. Yeah. So is there anything? I don't want to use the word familiar. It's adjacent to.
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't have the correct thing. But is there something that he can kind of glean from this experience that would?
Aside from, I wouldn't say anything that would be like of more value aside from reaffirming that what you have seen is starting to come to pass, as you have now seen this thing that is, like you said, it is adjacent to what you have already witnessed, and you know that there's something bigger and larger that lies ahead. So yeah, it's just kind of like the reaffirming of that this is real. You've already seen bits and pieces of it to begin with, but now you are seeing that this is drawing closer to its conclusion.
Okay. By the way, when everything turned on, did the baubles that I have interact in any sort of way?
No, not yet.
Okay. I will take a couple deep breaths and pivot and walk back toward the group.
Okay.
Should we use this as a resting point
Oh,
to
yeah.
let a couple of people?
Holy moly, it is already
Sorry.
8:40. No, you're fine. All right. No, this is a perfect moment to regather ourselves. So we shall return here in a moment. Break time.
Barf.
The time of the Jedi is long past.
This isn't going to go the way you think.
Tragic. The loss of a master.
big bottle of farf.
No.
Oh,
Isker, are you gonna make it or?
I'm in the penalty box. So
Oh yeah, that
Um,
was a whole discussion that we had on Saturday. It was like, what is a pen? Because I was at the hockey game, so I was just like, a penalty box. This guy got sent in timeout, and he's like, I was like, I didn't even see where it was, and it's like on the opposite side from where all his friends are, and it was just like, I've heard of the term, I've seen Mighty Ducks, I've seen the, but I didn't feel as enclosed as it did here. It was just like tall plastic walls. I was like, he really is in a little plastic cage.
I'm glad you got to see one for real.
And he deserved it.
It was a good
that
game.
ass.
Stars won 4-3, 5.3 seconds left of overtime.
It was nuts. It was
So
nuts.
this does remind me of a meme about hockey. The penalty box is in hockey is such a funny concept to me. Big fighty men go in the naughty cube, imprisoned for sports crimes. Go to the terrarium and think about your punching, you knife-footed ice gremlin.
Go in the terrarium. I love that.
But yes, apologies to Hannah and Taco. I will not be personally reading chat for the rest of the night. So I can control myself.
Yeah. It's fine.
Rookie mistake.
All right. So,
I would like to show everyone what the Misto one I found.
okay. For sure. You guys step
Found
into
love in a lonely place.
there's your heart's beating quickly, the adrenaline of the moment kind of receding, and you still kind of can't help but do the occasional glance over your shoulder, wondering if by chance you're going to see something quickly scrambling towards you. I was gonna say crawling and scrambling at the same time, scrawling.
So we got farf.
Yeah. Quickly running towards you, but everything seems still once again. You are led into this very cathedral, or well, for us it'd be cathedral-like building. This structure does have a difference than everything else. Most of the other buildings in this area look, to some degree or another, slightly more residential in nature. Whether by design, it doesn't look like they have too much in the way of shops or anything like that, or little taverns or anything that would seem to give way to being a business of any sort. This definitely looks like abodes of various shapes, designs, and types. But this place seems to have a certain level of space away from everything else. The structure itself looks to give it almost like a small temple-like vibe. With the way that the windows are separately shaped. The door lodged somewhat firmly in place. You guys all squeeze through into this mausoleum-like chamber. And Phoebe points, did you have light cast on something, right? I think what it was earlier, or did you just have like the torch? I actually guess it right now it doesn't matter because it's all
the
lit
lights
up.
came on.
Yeah, that's right. So in that same way where there's like the recessed sections up on the ceiling, the light now kind of brings everything to a vibrant, colorful life. As it almost seems like the hues of the light are different depending on the section of the wall.
Astrid, come here.
What is?
I think these are your people.
She'll take a good moment to examine and take in the murals.
Make a Make an insight.
So, a 14.
Okay. You look at this etchings on the wall, very similar in style to the way that the people from the land of Kemet carve their stories into walls and the hieroglyphs and such. These lack the color vibrancy that those have painted. These are just stone. But the lights that currently now kind of shift and change seem to give them life and a movement of their own, and you're not sure if it's just the intricacy of the shadows of what is carved into the walls that make it look like they move. But you see something of some sort of mural of a story of these vessels that seem to travel amongst what looks like a field of stars. There doesn't seem to be any pattern of constellation or anything to these stars as you would normally know of them. They just look like, it just looks like, you know, when someone makes a representation of a star field, right? They're just little pits in the wall that kind of catch the light a certain way to give it more brightness. It's giving it almost like a starlight point to it. Yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, I lost it. So.
Do you see these reliefs? They tell perhaps one of the oldest stories of the old kingdom. They clearly, Astrid, your people helped to lead the gods here. What the Ares and Hecate said, there is immense truth in it.
My people would have lived here in Cretan. They are some of the ones that perished. This creature attacked. I suppose we scattered after. Maybe there were other colonies.
There are. Did we not hear that from your story? From that creature that you unlocked?
Maybe some of them are still hiding deep in the ocean. I'll continue to the next. Is there another mural?
Yeah. It kind of like this room is rectangular. The sides, the lower sides of the walls are mostly smooth. You would imagine that perhaps there had at one point been something else that was here in this room. Because it looks like when you first go into an empty apartment and all the walls are bare, and it looks like just like strangely hollow and empty, waiting to be filled. This room doesn't seem to have anything in it, and despite the fact that it was sealed for the most part, it doesn't seem to carry much in the way of debris either. The walls just remain a blank canvas, no marks, no remnants of paint, no anything. They're just smooth. And then about the 12-foot mark up is where that pit in the ceiling kind of like smoothly curves outwards, and it's from on top of that the light kind of shows the mural that kind of not quite Sistine Chapel like smooth, it goes all the way to the center, but it kind of curves again to a little dome before it becomes flat ceiling. So this smooth curve on top is the one that has like the mural on it.
Okay.
And then
sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, and then at the far end there is like a stone pedestal that just sits there.
I'll have her go over to the pedestal and place the star chart just on it and try to breathe, I guess, the energy or the magic from it into the pedestal, like she had done with the when she had touched the the pedestal back there and like turn down the lights after the window.
The stone pedestal here remains just stone. It doesn't look like the panel that you had seen in the power station. It's not angled oddly. It looks like something should be placed. Like it basically looks like a stone pedestal that would have like a vase on it or something or something like. It's just a flat, super flat surface. So your device fits nicely on top of it. Make an Arcana check for me, and then while you roll that, Phoebe, what were you gonna say?
At the front, was there just one gem embedded into the mural?
So,
or were there a couple? I can't remember.
There are 3. And they are not in the pedestal. They are up on the ceiling,
like the side.
In the ceiling, up at the top. Yeah.
Laertes, do you think those gems would act in a similar way that the other crystals did? Do you think there's more to the story here? Or are they just gems?
Only one way to find out, I suppose.
Laertes, when you look up where she's talking about, it's kind of like it almost looks like the Federation symbol, where it's just like this circle with a bunch of like gems that are placed, or pits that are in this one circular spot, and there's black. There's actually, with the light now, it does give it less of, you can't tell if it's flame or tendril. The shadowing of the way that it is carved creates this blackened looking tendril like fire that spreads in all directions from this circle. And your knowledge of academics in general gives you the design is purposeful in the way that some of these gems sit at the very center, and then there's like a spiraling outwards, very similar to like a way a galaxy would spiral. It just has like this spiralish design to it that you can just barely make out, and at its center there is one large crystal and an array of 2 on each side. The little smaller, like the ones that your spellbook is modeled after. There's 4 total, and then in the very center, a large crystal, like exclamation point looking thing.
Given the things that I've studied and seen, and in my case, built, does that one in the center look like it's something that has a function more than just decoration?
This one looks more akin to the one that Astrid had used, that had housed memories, or files and that sort of information. And you have figured enough with your studies. Make a history check for me. Yes, if you will. Astrid,
would that be with advantage or no advantage?
Advantage, yeah.
Okay.
Astrid, what were you gonna say?
The blankness of the lower parts of the walls, does that seem intentional to Astrid? Like how maybe the walls of an amphitheater would like host a puppet show, or
make a
a planetarium kind of thing.
Make an investigation check.
Okay. 17.
With that, I would definitely say that it does give you an intentional. I mean, for you, the player, definitely you could tell you'd be able to tell that like it is something that is smoothed out for a reason. Because even if someone were to hang something from the wall, there would be some sort of evidence of that. Like there'd be pits in the wall where nails or like studs would be put in there, but there's nothing to give the way of any sort of imperfection. It is just and even as you run your hands across it, I guess it gives you like a stucco feeling. It is a very smooth texture, but it is uniform all the way across. There is no imperfect, even in its like, I guess it's less stucco, more like the inside of a pool, where the inside's of a pool kind of sandy to give you grip, right? It kind of feels like that. It's like this really strange, like you can feel, and it's just, but it's even all the way across.
She's going to, she'll place the star chart on the pedestal, just like the center there. And if Laertes is investigating those crystals,
which they are about 15 feet up from where you're at, but they're easily seen because they are lit specifically.
Phoebe, do you think that you could have Ladon grab those crystals up there?
Dawn, do you mind? And I'll point to the crystal.
It looks around. Make a persuasion check. Laertes, what did you roll?
16.
Oh my gosh, my brain just rebooted and crashed. This was to see if they looked familiar, right? Or if they looked
I was trying to figure out if it had a more immediate purpose. Because my concern is I don't want to just rip it out of the wall without knowing
right
what it is.
The interesting thing is they look exactly as I described what you would imagine them to be, but the way that they are set into the wall makes it look like they were supposed to be cleverly disguised, maybe.
Okay.
In a way, because obviously anybody who's familiar with this stuff would be able to recognize what they are, but they are put up there decoratively. So
would a reasonable guess be that the colonists put those there so that if the locals were to stumble onto them, it wouldn't mean anything? Is that kind of what you're getting at? Is that the assumption?
It gives you they were put there for reverence.
Reverence. Okay.
It gives it a very like on the borderline of religious, like
like keeping
place.
scrolls in
like
places too.
So without trying to just take it out of the wall just yet, I don't want to be too sacrilegious then.
It's okay. I only got a 5. Laydon's not doing it.
Or he'll do it and then just sort of drop it and crack and good times. From where I am, like it's 15 feet up, you said?
Yeah.
Did I understand that right? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of want to connect to it with my version of Mage Hand, kind of just that invisible warping of reality around it, kind of just pressing against it as I'm trying to almost dial into one of the ones that most resemble mine, the one that maybe I would have the most chance of accessing as cleanly as possible. Because even though I built mine and quote unquote programmed it so that as a result I'm probably the only person that can read it because I'm the only one that knows it.
Yeah.
But these are the ones that are factory stamped out.
Mm-hmm.
And so their purpose may be similar, but they're maybe coded very differently.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pick one of the 4. 2, 1 and 2 on left, 3 and 4 on right. And they all look relatively similar. There's not any super distinction between them. Because, like, again, the way they were placed kind of makes it look like they were supposed to represent maybe like planets or stars because of the carvings on the stone around them. And it just like their center set looks like it's like the center of a gem, like a star. And then it's got like the points around it. You know what I mean? So they are uniquely placed, but they all look very close and similar. And they don't look.
Well, I'll change that then to I'll try to do the center one. If it's one of the most prominent, why not?
Okay, so the center crystal.
My inspo reroll got me a nat 20, so I guess Laydon will help this time if we need it.
Laydon kind of looks at you and everybody else and leaps from your shoulder and kind of does the little floaty serpenty thing up to the top ledge, where he then sits and looks down at you, the rest of you, from on high. Doesn't do anything else, but he now goes up there. As per cat rules, I will obey you only so much within my desire.
And if he's going to obey you, it's while showing full butthole. But if it matters, I'm not trying to rip it out. I'm just sort of like trying to remotely key into it, kind of thing.
Make an Arcana check for me.
Yes, I will. Is this a flat roll or?
Because you're trying to use the hand to kind of pry something that's kind of stuck in there. I just want to see how.
Oh, I'm not trying to pry it out. It's just the same way that I can kind of connect from mine without me touching it, kind of just sort of floating in place. I'm just trying to do that from slightly further away.
Okay. This one doesn't seem to budge much. And there is a connection to it whenever you do reach out, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But it feels distant somehow. Like it's
kind of
got
inert, like it is, like it's not powered on.
Right.
So I gotta find how to wake it up in Windows.
Control Alt Escape.
No,
we're gonna say Astrid.
I'd like to try and just open the star chart up, like when I would use it to, just to navigate the stars. Have it be open, and if I still have Enthos's card, I'd like to place it on top and see if that connects to anything in that room.
Okay. When you activate your star chart, normally it just hovers in the air above it. But when you do it this time, it reacts differently. The star chart doesn't pop up. It appears on the walls around you. There is no like projector lines, kind of like projector view kind of thing. It just, from where it's sitting on there, the walls become a star field all around you. It's almost like I hate to use the term holodeck, but almost like holodeck kind of style, where it's just like it doesn't completely encase the floor. It only like goes maybe a foot from wall to the floor, and then the floor becomes stone again. But from that foot space between floor and wall, each of the walls up, and then you can see the lip edge of the entirety of the mausoleum. It becomes as if you are standing amongst a field of stars.
There must be a way to show more. Can I go in, like, what would feel like the access point, like to touch or move?
Whatever you normally use, yeah. This normally you interact with the map by touching its physical, its physical incarnations in the air in front of you, right? That's what basically it acts like a map. It's not like you can really like pan or zoom or anything, because it just represents the sky above, right? So it just kind of mirrors that. So this kind of makes it look like you can see, kind of like a planetarium, where you kind of like the walls kind of like look like the stars in different points of the horizon. You do see that there are like arcane lines that seem to be things that you hadn't noticed, that just look like a line that goes all the way across.
She'll concentrate on like touching the line, almost like feeling like she's going to pinch it to move it across. She'll try that.
Okay. You'd have to go up to the wall to touch one of the light sources. Going up to the wall, you touch one of the stars that you see, and for one of the first times, you see that there is runes that appear around that star. It almost looks like a little readout. It kind of just makes a round circle, and then more runes pop up on the side, and this is a language you've never seen before. But Laertes and Penthos, you recognize the Bahirian language, or in its script form. And it would basically, if you're looking at it, it would name the star. I'm not going to try to remember anything specific, but it would give the name of the star, but then the Bahirian equivalent of no information. Like it would basically say the name of the star, but no information otherwise.
Maybe something that is a little closer or larger, like a planet. If that makes sense to try to...
Yeah. You can definitely see... Now you realize that these lines, because we'll say that one of the planets will be in the horizon right now, and one of the planetary star points is connected to a line that goes across, as if it shows like an orbit.
Okay. I'll click on... I'll touch that one.
We'll say that for the time being, the one that you select is Jupiter. Or the equivalent of Jupiter.
That makes sense.
And it gives like a Bahirian name. So for you, Astrid, it will say you can see that the runes changed, and then there's a little more information, and it just kind of keeps going down. For Penthos and Laertes, it's like basically it names the planet, it names it says no life, and then it names the moon, like other bodies, celestial bodies that orbit around that planet.
Cool.
And if you did basically try and select that planet, it shifts the whole star map so it kind of becomes a little more visible, and you see the planet of Jupiter with these tiny little dots that also have their own orbit lines that kind of move around. Very much in the old, like the little like planetarium toys that kind of show the planets moving around the sun. It's like a sci-fi. Yeah, so it's like a sci-fi steampunky looking readout of exactly what of like the planet, and then the little orbiting moons as they kind of go around it, and it fills up a good portion of the wall. Themisto, what were you gonna say?
Just during this time, Themisto has been just off to the side on her knees, just quietly praying. But when this transpires and we're seeing these orbit lines and everything, she just stops and is watching intently.
Laertes, Penthos, you know this language?
Penthos is kind of overwhelmed with just everything, especially just seeing the card being used to great effect. That's just been in a pouch, on so many travels for so long.
I will say probably the card didn't really do anything for this particular thing. It's still sitting there on top of but it has been used a lot for some of these other things. But right now it's just kind of sitting there, and it is floating over the star chart. It just kind of sits there floating.
Yes.
What does this all mean?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Sorry. What does this all mean? Is that the name?
Names and information about all the individual places. I kind of give a lingering look to the set of gems that had been getting my attention. I like, I'll file that away for later. And I wander over to what Astrid is doing, and I'm just, may I try something?
Yes.
Oh, you were correct, by the way. I just Googled them, and they definitely did call them Zeus, Hermes, and Aphrodite, which was our Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter.
Given that we have an understanding that this has access to the local area, I try and zoom it back into our world to give a sense of scale and import. And I want to see what kind of information that pops up.
Yeah.
Okay. Mimicking Astrid's movements, you kind of just place your hand on the wall, and as you rub your hand across the wall, it shifts the entire star field around so that you can face now basically the way you started, right? Because it basically pan shifted outwards. You shifted it back around, and you see a few more larger, bright stars that look like tiny marbles that are slowly connected to these lines, and a centralized, glowing Helios of the sun.
Yes. Well, interesting. I did want to move it back to actually Earth, whatever the equivalent. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, sorry. It does shift around so you're able to see and find it. You go across the opposite wall where you see currently this little blue marble that has another little white tiny dot that kind of orbits around it, and you touch that, and it zooms forward again, covering one side of the wall. You see the place you call home. You assume. In its beautiful blue and green glory.
I'm having flashbacks to as a kid when we had those really shitty Unix keyboards with the trackball built into it. And that's all I'm feeling as I'm kind of just sort of scrolling through this universe, playing through Stellaris.
It does label it Terrum, Terr space UMM,
which is what Rhea called it in the log, correct? I just kind of want to zoom in further to try and just basically fill the field so that all the information that populates it sort of seems like information seems to be based on scale. The further away you get, the less shows up. So I want to see if I can get close enough to show everything as much as possible, but try and get the focus eventually down to where we are now. Like spin the globe towards here.
It doesn't, I don't know if it would, it does give you like an image of the planet, but you realize that the image that it shows is somehow obscured. It's almost like as you're looking at it, it shows like a blue, and you can see what looks like the shimmer of something else beneath the blue, like it looks faded. But there's like blue, and you see these long strands of white clouds. But as you start spinning it, you're realizing that most of the planet looks like it's covered in water, which is different.
How do the continents, if any, look in their shape, if we can get a look at them?
You don't see any.
Oh,
Intriguing.
gosh.
Kyrgyzstan would like to do a video. But what is the information that, like, on the readout that kind of pops up, like with Jupiter? Did it say anything like life or mission?
It says Terrum. There are a couple of little, like, looks like points of light that are on the planet itself. They look like they might be selectable. And it says It does say colony. It says second homeworld.
Interesting. They're calling it a second homeworld. And my mind goes back to the fact that it said homeworld on another place and there was no information given. Right? That's what was seen earlier. It's like, what calamity befell them that they came here? Going to sort of spin that globe and try and select one of the glowing, I don't know, icons on this desktop to see what happens.
Do you?
I can also relent for a minute because she's had her hand up for a while.
Okay. Yeah, Phoebe, what were you gonna say?
While Laertes is looking at Terraum, can we kind of see the sun in relation to it still hanging out? I want to go over to Themisto and point it out. Look, that is our sun, the domain of Apollo.
Mista's just going to nod. She's not going to say anything.
I'll kneel down beside you. Are you all right?
I'm just thinking.
You do not have to think alone. Unless you want to be.
Themisto's just gonna reach out her hand and put it on your leg. Just kind of gentle touch for a second, and then just keep watching Laertes and Astrid manipulate this star chart.
I'll hold your hand in my hand.
Cypress.
Throughout this whole thing, Cypress has been like an elementary school student in a planetarium. He doesn't know why he's there. He doesn't know what he's learning, but he's absorbing information he will reflect on and be astounded by. But it's all so much, and his worldview is not solid enough to process what he's witnessing. So he's very much just like, just kind of trying to see all the sights that are happening, and really it's not glancing off of him. He'll like reflect on it later and be blown away. But right now he's just like, wow, there's a lot of science going on in this room.
Oh,
or math, as Laertes puts it.
What were you gonna say, Pentos?
You're muted.
You. There are two courses of actions, and I'm trying to decide what Penthos would do. I think he would not let curiosity get in the way of what had just transpired with these strange creatures being awoken by the sudden kind of rush of energy. So he's going to be like one step outside the door, just on guard. And every now and then he'll look over his shoulder and just see like all these stars and everybody in wonder, and I think there's a separation there that he's maintaining.
Okay. As you scan the information, Laertes, you see as it kind of brings up more details, the more you spin things around, it shifts the view, and your eye like flicks for a second to the moon, and then you flick again, and you realize that something is different. That is no moon. It's too small. There's something there that looks like maybe even a quarter of its what size it is. It's not even the right shape. It's just this small little chunk of rock, it looks like.
We'll just sort of manipulate the image to try and focus in on that.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just I saw something strange. Relatively strange compared to everything else.
But yeah, it looks like a chunk of rock, maybe a quarter of the size of what the moon size should be.
Would I notice this
Yeah.
as well?
Was there
Like-
any information highlighted next to it? The
Mm-mm.
Does it have an orbit line around the Earth, or is
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Is it further away or closer than it should be?
Closer.
Laertes is kind of having this whole trying to revise so many calculations, not so much replace them as much as how does that now change how things are supposed to work? How does that affect water levels if the moon seems to affect the tide? If there's a lack of a moon in comparison and no continents visible,
Mm-hmm.
this whole place underwater.
Does
I would say Astrid, because you are familiar with your device. You see at the bottom of list of details, whatever it is that it's saying about the planet as a whole, there seems to be like there is something more below it.
she will touch it or try to like expand or
Another script comes up to the side. Laertes, it says in Bahiran, remove Atlas effect.
I'll translate for Astrid. Is it saying it like a press here to do this, or
Kind of.
okay? This I'm confused and now very concerned. This is just a map, correct? We're not going to destroy anything. And as he's saying, he keeps thinking of what Talis just this is on a much worse scale.
Atlas. Wait, no, you didn't say anything. Never mind.
No, I translated. so
Okay,
you can-
okay. Atlas holds up the. Well, if Atlas is the machine that I. Machine. If Atlas is the structure that I saw in the vision, I would not want to remove its effect.
Here's a thought. And I
This
kind of
could-
just reach over and just double click the icon because my hope here is that this is just about the image and showing take off one layer and show it like on Photoshop, not destroy world, please. Enter your pin code here.
Well, gang, this has been a nice campaign. See you in the next one. And
Hey, if I can't say the world, you're damn sure I'll destroy it.
Maybe there's a. Are you sure? You'd like to.
Yeah, there you go.
Are you
Fail
really?
safe
No,
Click their version of clip comes up. You're trying to destroy the world. Can I help?
no. Are you really,
Check
really
the box
sure?
to confirm
sure?
you've read through the terms and conditions.
Type in the captcha.
Yeah, type in the caption.
How many Greek gods do you see in this picture?
They're all Greek gods. Oh no.
It's just a bunch of birds, and you're like, oh no.
Oh, they're all Zeus.
This action requires administrator access to
There you
the
go.
form. Would you?
Where's that
And you're like,
Greek god?
yes, let me blow it up.
Interesting. Okay. We'll
The
do
island
that.
rocks a little bit in place. Undo. Let's be hearing for Control Z.
You pressed. You select. You make the selection.
Mhm.
it scoots the visual back to the planet. And it zooms it slightly. And then the blue disappears. And you see several misshapen but yet familiar continents. They don't seem to match what you envision in your mind.
Not even the like Aegean Mediterranean area.
There's less water there than there was.
Hmm.
And you see various points of light scattered across the globe. And you see one massive cityscape. As if one large colony was placed on the surface of the world. And it just says Bahiri. This would be somewhere akin to where the Pacific Ocean would be. The opposite side of the world from where you recognize vaguely the continents of Africa and Europe.
Mm-hmm. I guess we'll just sort of spin the map to try and focus on that. And just for the sake of ease, I'm going to be sort of holding up one hand and be projecting a translation of what is written so that Astrid can follow along seamlessly.
All right. But you see across the globe, there are various small colonies, smaller little pinpricks of light that you can kind of zoom closer to. You recognize some landmass. Like I said, you recognize some land masses. The mountains of the northern Greek area kind of give the hint that this is Greece, but the shape's different. The oceans are laid differently. There are different valleys that you don't recognize, different mountains that are in the place of where oceans are. Like it's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences.
So where we're standing now, where's the water line?
There's a larger open, it's almost like a plains almost. And you see that there are various little mountains around this area.
So it's basically Doggerland for anyone that knows what that is.
I don't know what that is.
Similar issue, but it was between England, France, Scandinavia area.
Okay.
And when the Ice Age ended, that kind of like filled in.
Yeah, basically something along those lines.
But I'll just be sort of spinning it towards Bahiri since that's the first tangible evidence of physically what it was, where it is, how it be, what it do.
Yeah.
Sunria, she talked about the Behiri is the eternal city. There are some of the people from this colony who were from there.
You see also, I'll say whenever you were on the side where where you are at, where you're looking at what was ancient Greece, there is one point besides Creon, there aren't any other colonies here, except for one other point.
Kemet?
Though there's that way, yeah, you're right. There is that one for the south, but like in Greece, in the Greece area, there is one other point, and it says in Bahiran, portal, semicolon, Gaia.
Oh. Demisto, come check this out.
Themisto will rise.
Is this where you're from? This place? Does it look familiar to you?
He hasn't
maps?
let go of your hand.
I imagine it does not.
The landmass of Greece looks slightly different, but the point that they're pointing at is the same mountain range that you are from.
That does look like Mount Parnassus, yes.
There's a portal here of some sorts.
They say that Grand Parnassus is the Omphalos. It is the center point of the entire world. It is the place we are closest to Gaia.
Hmm.
You hear her kind of think a little at the very end of that sentence.
These people know about that. They know of Gaia. Continuing to look at if there's any other colonies, trying to see if EU comes up.
Mm-mm.
No.
We're gonna say Laertes.
While we're in that general area, does the Priory, or at least the area, show up with anything?
The one that you had been to?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we roughly knew kind of where it was.
Right.
Did we, or no?
You knew it was somewhere in Crete, is what you imagined.
Mm-hmm.
In that area. So you're looking in that area. No, there doesn't seem to be anything there.
Okay. Guess if no one stops him or has any other questions, I guess. Actually, can we focus in on the Gaia portal thing? Does it give any further information to glance at it?
It does seem to be pulsing with a similar light as other points of interest have been. Can you touch it?
Yeah. Actually, before I do, it's Misto, would you like to do the honors?
I suppose if the Old Kingdom has left this for us, she'll reach up and touch it without finishing her sentence.
You okay. You touch it and the vision shifts. The stars blur as everything moves, and suddenly you're thrust, and you all kind of like spread your legs a little bit, like you're like expecting movement because of how fast everything seems to be rushing past you. And you see stars after stars, swirling masses of colorful cloud, just like whoosh, 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 flying past you along the walls before it slows and comes to another star. And this one has a few other bright little globes of colorful light, but it stops on one planet that's twice the size of Ter and also covered in a bluish haze. And the readout on the side says Gaia.
Whoa.
And it says third homeworld. Followed by let me make sure I'm getting this right.
Or the Hades.
Ruling capital.
Are we seeing where Gaia resides?
As I know it, Gaia is the Earth herself. It does not match the stories, but much here does not.
She looks very much like Earth. Is there a button for like releasing the Atlas thing on Gaia? I'll do that.
You release it, and it is this verdant green world. There's a few large seas, but they are not connected. It is like almost like a inverse of Earth, where Earth has a lot more
Giant lakes.
like a bunch of ocean or majority of water. This is mostly land, and you see oh my gosh, several capitals there, but also another colony that's about roughly the size of Bahiri.
This is a beautiful place.
Are you all right?
Maybe it was named after the great guy.
It is a lot to think about.
It is beautiful and green, verdant. I could see why.
Yes, but something leads me to think that perhaps that is not the case. You see, well, we can't see it anymore, but Helios clearly is not pulled by Apollo's chariot, so perhaps I am not the person to consult about what is true or not.
Neither have any of us. We don't know any more than anyone else, really. We're just here learning the same information, trying to make do.
Yes. I don't think I have anything further to say right now.
We need to rest. Maybe we'll be able to see the pieces better in the morning.
Maybe. I mean, I was raised a little bit on stories of the gods, but most of what is revered on Thebes is what is primordial, what is the nature of the world itself. I've never thought to ask, but if we happened to be back there, maybe they have insight on this sort of thing. If there's some kind of migration that took place here and elsewhere, and I say tentatively because again, most of this is lost on me, but maybe the gods came with them.
Larities.
Saying that this is a bit of a touchy subject for the moment, he's going to try and get back to the previous screen.
There is a connecting line to a point on this planet that says Terum.
All right,
and
I'm
I'll
going to
say
shift tab to back to Terum.
I will say that as you are doing that, you do see that there is another similar shaped and sized, if maybe a little larger, floating rock that orbits this place. But then you find it's kind of like as you're like looking for where that line connects.
Does there seem to be any similarity? Is it like the exact same like Unity asset ported in, or is there something?
Almost. It's a little larger. There's some variations to it, but they look extremely similar.
Okay.
Before he goes back to Terum,
I will say, well, with Themisto, Phoebe, you and Astrid, make a perception check for me.
Oh,
13.
None. I'm invested.
19.
Okay.
Perception.
Did you roll two,
Ooh.
Laertes?
No, I was nasty.
Oh, sorry. I meant you as well because you were looking around right now.
Hmm.
And yeah, you know what? Why not? Do it, Cypress.
All right, it was perception or
Yeah, perception.
Okay, 17.
Okay. I will say that Laertes, and actually it would be Themisto first because she rolled the highest. You see what they are looking at with this little orbiting rock, and you look up across the way, the opposite side where you're facing right now, where it shows those little vessels that are escaping the tendrils of fire. And you look back, and even though you may not say anything, you recognize the shape. And then Laertes, I guess, following Themisto's like line of sight where she's looking, you see that they are the same shape as the little vessels that look like they're escaping from the other side.
Ooh.
If a 3-dimensional version or like a more detailed version and a flattened like carving up on the wall kind of can match
An
up.
interesting thought. I want to go back if anybody's okay with me kind of skipping slightly.
Yeah.
I want to go back to that initial tab of the first homeworld.
Oh, before you do that, though,
Oh.
Astrid will try to re-enable the Atlas protocol
Oh yeah.
on it if she can, if that makes a difference.
Yeah, it just cut. Basically, all you're doing is removing visibility of.
Okay.
You've messed with it enough and seen no dire consequences here to figure out that it just kind
It
of
would be hilarious if we're just going to delete worlds from afar. Yeah, we are playing Stellaris.
Atmosphere deleted. No.
The code is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are playing Spaceballs. That's what's going on.
You go back to Terum.
No, not Terum. There was one that said Homeworld.
Second Homeworld.
Not Gaia. There was one that Astrid had selected first.
Well, it was just a star, and then there was Jupiter.
Is that what that was?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a distant star, and then there was a world next to it. I thought.
Well, it was like a distant point of light, just because it looked like far away, but it was Jupiter that she had selected first.
Never mind, my fault. Yeah, I'll go back to Terum, and considering that we're still here, I want to try and zoom in again on that rock and see if there's any kind of manipulating the camera around to see if there's any other tiny little particles of anything worth watching for.
It doesn't.
Any of these vessels. Or
it doesn't really zoom in terribly close to it for some reason. It seems like it's focused on celestial bodies, and this doesn't seem to register as a celestial body for whatever reason, which is different than like when you were facing Jupiter and you could see that each of its moons were selectable, basically, right? This one doesn't seem to be selectable. It's just there, but you move the screen around as much as you can to get to where you can see it, and it does seem to have this little like cloud of occasionally light catching little things that kind of move around it, but it doesn't really they don't like go to the planet or anything like that. They just kind of exist there. And for all intents and purposes, it literally does look like a floating asteroid. Like it just looks like a chunk of rock, but it's strange that it is.
Brain goes back to that floating rock right above the colony from the cliff wall. That. Do you mind if I look at something else before we turn in?
See if you can find EU. That was one of the places that was mentioned by Risunrea, and I've yet to see it here.
I did want to see that one, Kemet and Bahiri, since that's been highlighted.
There are a few other. there's like, I would say at least 10 other points like Crit on and Kemet on that are that are spread across the globe. And your mind goes to the obelisks that are spread across here. And you realize that each of these small colonies is spread across the world in a way that you could almost make a lattice all the way across the world at different points. And they have varying names. But they all seem to have the same, if you zoom in as close as you can, they both basically have the same sort of like triangle, square on its side kind of shape to it. But none of them are labeled as EU.
If nothing stops me, I will try and scroll over to Bahiri.
Okay. You do?
Mm-hmm.
This is a like we're talking the size of like Italy. It is a large mass, and at its center there are various large structures. But they don't look like anything you've ever seen, and the size would indicate a mass the size of mountains.
Is it kind of like a circular domed in kind of thing? Is it more
There are
just
some that are that shape. Some that resemble tall towers or pyramid-like shapes.
Is it its own island, or does it look more artificial than that?
It kind of looks artificial.
Okay.
It looks all built. The amount of people that would have to have lived here would be
Staggering.
Immense.
To the point where Ilum is probably the most metropolitan area we've been to, and would probably fit into a room in this place kind of thing.
It would appear.
Okay. Is there anything about it that is selectable, highlightable? Any notes about it that has come up other than its name?
Its name, capital of Tarum, a number of citizens it says citizens, but it's a number that just seems astronomical in its quantity. There's a lot of commas in there. In there.
Billions and billions. I see you, Iskra. Yeah, okay. Does any names of any of these people, like any kind of like, leader or organization?
This, for all intents and purposes, is kind of more Google Maps than it is like Google kind of situation. It names places and a couple of small details, but this is more of a wayfinder kind of device. So it kind of gives you locations and where they're at. It gives you coordinates, like precise ways of where locations, but it doesn't give a lot of other stuff.
Would it be fair to say that I've been keeping track of coordinates, kind of like inputting it into the crystal, guys, like my set of bookmarks to later explore kind of thing?
Sure.
Okay. All I have for right now, if anyone else wants to do, I'm sorry, I've monopolied so much time here. I'm so sorry.
I wouldn't know what to look for anyway. So
I'll zoom out of the city into just the planet. There's no polar ice caps that are there. It's just like water and then some of the.
Correct. And the amount of water doesn't add up to the amount of water that exists on the planet now. There's a lot more landmass. And then your mind goes back to what you saw with the Atlas engine and it blasting this column of water into the sky. and how whenever you had selected remove Atlas effect, the blue haze that covered the entirety of the planet vanished. And then you think of the stories of the fall of Bahiri. And the stories of the creation of the world. And man rising from the oceans. And it makes you shiver.
And out of character, in this world, do we have this history of flood stories?
Mm-hmm. And in every culture, well, not every culture, most cultures, Egypt, Greece, and various other ones, all speak of beginnings starting with water. It is one of the binding facts of most mythologies, is at some point, somewhere along the way, water is involved with the dawn of mankind. And I would say even 1,000 years is not enough to wipe away stories of a massive flood.
Of possibly the entire ocean falling down from the sky onto people because the Atlas failed or was destroyed. Okay, all right, cool. Good notes. Astrid is going to close it out.
You pick up the your device from the portal or podium, and everything vanishes and becomes its normal stone. We're gonna say Phoebe.
Just gonna say, as Astrid closes out the device, Phoebe will begin unpacking things from her bag and Themisto's bags, the fruit, last of the fruit that Themisto had picked up, any like dried goods we have, start setting out something for us to eat.
Laertes?
With this over for now, he's going to go back to one of his pins, and he's going to try and, from a distance, connect to one of the gems up on that design. He'll start with one of the ones that more closely resemble his own, for the sake of simplicity, and just try and work at that problem for a little bit.
Make an intelligence saving throw.
Great. That went lovely last time. Saving throw.
You smart man.
Why is this not working properly? Do the thing. 22.
22.
My brain only explodes a little bit.
Only a little bit, as a flood of information starts to pour through your brain. So much so, and in a language that you are only moderately familiar with, and in a form that makes that what you are familiar with more difficult to read, because it's like reading a certain variation of the Bahiran script, but written in a different form, and it's just a barrage of just like you are the math lady gif right now, where it's just like, and you can see these branching equations. This is something that you immediately had to like start backing off of and kind of like closing the feed a little bit so that your brain will stop rattling. But given time and some work, This is basically the notes of another spell book.
Oh, I hope that's worth the migraine.
Laertes, come eat. All of you, come eat.
Fine, fine.
No, you need to eat and you need to rest.
He said fine. He wasn't saying no. He said fine.
Oh,
Yeah,
you said
yeah.
I'm fine.
No, fine, fine. Too fine.
Just and he just goes and sits down. Just
Cypress lifts up some food to his mouth. But then I will eat it.
I'm picturing the amount of times I've had that sort of rail spike behind the eye feeling, and it's very appropriate.
This will be here in the morning. Seems like a good enough place to rest.
We should probably keep watch, though, right? I don't know exactly what happened when I assume that was Astrid and I accidentally turning something on. The spider showed up immediately after the fact. Hopefully that was all of them, but
Maybe we can fix the door. The Mister's gonna walk over to the door, and she doesn't know what the heck she's doing, but she's going to try to do something to it to make it close.
Just feel
Push on it.
fully
Shake
convinced
it a
that you
little.
know exactly what you're doing.
What are you doing, Penthos?
I
mean,
will
oh.
walk back inside before the door is closed on me. I'll help with that.
Mhm.
I also want to ask Astrid to take a watch with me.
That sounds good. I can clear my head. I'll help out with the door if I can too.
Oh yeah, between Themisto and Penthos, it's just like a little grating sound, but it's just like, but you can push it shut.
Cypress, will you take second watch with me?
Of course. I feel chipper. I have pretty much everything, and I don't feel so worn out by whatever you all were discovering. So, less to process.
I threw a couple javelins. I saw some stars. I'm feeling pretty good.
Phoebe will begin setting out her mat.
Likewise.
Themisto, Laertes, rest.
Oh, you see him, he's already laying down and he doesn't really care on what at this point. He's like,
I feel like you're just like spread out on the ground, just like, my head.
I'll go find.
no, I'm not doing that. Just like
like this, just
basically
like,
just like grabbing a piece of cloth, using prestidigitation to, instead of warming it up, cool it right down, and just be like, there we go. That's better.
I'll like pull your blanket out of your pack and like drape it over you.
Thank you.
Themisto.
Phoebe.
Wish I had some magic word to help unravel whatever is going on.
I don't think that is what we need right now. I am going to sleep, and I will confront this later.
Right now, hold on to the things you know are true. You are Arthemisto from Delphi. You're here with us. You know that I like you. Those are truths.
They say good one. I am going to go to sleep now.
Yes. Would you like to rest alone? Would you like me to sit beside you?
I think, given the amplification effect of emotion that the Misto can feel from Penthos, she is just gonna lie down. She's not gonna say anything. And just try to sleep in her normal snake ball.
Okay. All right. So, Penthos and Astrid, go ahead. There are pathways into other rooms. Like, you've closed the main door. There are still some like window-like shapes that do have some sort of transparent material on them, although they are hella faded and dirty, so they almost become solid like the rest of the wall. But the only entrance seems to be this one point with like a little bit of a atrium-like space. Well, not atrium, more like an enclosed patio almost that has this like these windows. So wherever you would like to post up, you just kind of keep an eye out. You can see that the outside world is getting dark, but the lights from within the colony still kind of don't make it super bright, but they definitely keep the vision clear.
Astrid, my friend.
My friend.
You have borrowed my card. I ask if I could borrow your map.
Anytime. She'll hand it to me.
DM.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set it up like it was and click on Bahiri.
Mm-hmm.
And to use your kind of analogy of the Google Street View.
It doesn't zoom in that close, but it gets pretty close.
Okay. He's going to get as close as he can. And he's going to try to explore Bahiri.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling a tinge, a pull.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to, almost without thinking, start muttering words in Bahiran.
Mm-hmm. You're probably about a mile up from the city. It's like the closest you can get. So there's like, definitely you can see what looks like neighborhoods, boroughs, parks, forests, small hills, more buildings, some that don't look like anything that anyone has ever seen before. Their structure seems like in the drawings that we have seen of like sci-fi buildings that try and mimic real life or life organisms. So like buildings that almost look like coral shaped, trying to blend in with an environment that doesn't seem to exist here, but they look almost natural and unnatural in their shape. As most people are familiar with just like, four walls and a roof kind of square boxes and such things, more geometric in shape. This looks curved and flowing, organic in its nature.
I think what Astrid sees on Pinthos's face, as much as his expressions are kind of hard to decipher just by the nature of his visage, is seeing someone that is searching but doesn't know what they're searching for. Like a lot of kind of double backing, triple backing. But it is focused on Bahiri. And there is a settling kind of anger in that kind of desperation.
What is it you seek, Pentos? You've passed by this building about 3 times.
I think there will be a long pause, a deep sigh, primal sigh, and he will look up right at you and simply say, I don't know.
There's something deep within you that you seem to know about this place. Maybe I can help. I'll cast guidance on him and try to help explore with him.
The navigator's guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I use that on some sort of check?
What would you like to use for this?
It'd be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
given the nature of this campaign
Mm-hmm.
and the nature of guidance itself,
Mm-hmm.
is religion,
Sure.
but in an interesting interpretation of it. Okay. D4. 13.
You look at the map, this same spot that Astrid says you keep looking over. And though you don't know why and why it is that you keep searching it, why you keep looking at it, even though you don't really realize that you keep going back to it.
Oh, question.
Yes.
Real quick.
Answer.
Sorry to interrupt.
No.
Is there a part of like a console or anything that the compass I have fits into?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, not on. There's no console close by, and this one doesn't. The star chart doesn't have a spot for it.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
You're fine. Your hand kind of places over it. And you put your other hand on either side, and it's almost the flattened wall sort of thing. Instead of cupping your hands around someone's face, you kind of just tenderly place your hands around this one spot. And you just stare at it, and your mouth moves, though no sounds come out. The words or name. And everyone who is still conscious feels a pulse in the pangs of longing and loss. And Penthos, your lip trembles a little And your brow furrows as you're like trying to remember something. And then you say aloud, he was there. And you almost like as if it wasn't even you who had said it. You realize it's like you hear it yourself, but don't realize that the words had come from your mouth. And you just look at that one spot.
Was there? Oh, this isn't it. She'll put a hand on your shoulder.
You know the name. It floats on your mouth, on the corners of your tongue. Do you say it?
I think what happens with Penthos is, like you said, everybody feels this sense of longing, and then it gets very specific, and he repeats, he was there, louder and louder. And I think everybody feels, especially if they're asleep and kind of in a dream state of like, you are the closest to your most deeply held secret. Like it is when you are most vulnerable with someone you trust or in a moment of weakness to express that thing for the first time. And so he repeats, he was there, he was there, he was there. And when Astrid puts their hand on his shoulder and makes contact, I think there is a instant like dissolution of that feeling. And he does say the name, but only Astrid hears it. Alexef. Alexef was here. And he will... What just happened?
Don't reach out.
Nothing, carry on.
Nothing.
Lovely moment. Totally gone.
No, keep going.
He will grab the card that is floating above the map. Run his thumb over it. And look at Astrid with the deepest gaze. Just like finally a bridge has been made. But then it kind of turns to a fear. And I think you're insightful enough to know that that is a fear of this could be temporary. And that fear is shared.
Nice.
That's all I got.
Themisto. as you drift to sleep, what does your heart feel like right now?
She's just she's a little upset
Mm-hmm.
and confused. And these eventually are things that she's going to talk with everyone about. But she's spent her entire life believing a lot of very big things about herself and about what she is training to become. And there are now some answers that she didn't expect and more questions that have come out of it.
There's a moment when your mind is kind of reviewing everything that you have just seen, and you kind of shut it out, and your eyes close extra tight, and all of your snake eyes close extra tight. And it's just like when you're trying to like wish your mind to forget something, and you take in a deep breath and just kind of let it out and exhale. And you wrap yourself up a little tighter. And you slowly begin to drift off to sleep. And as you do so, you hear the sound of crickets. And this sound is tied to a memory of a night particular when you were a child at the Temple of Apollo. Misto, are you sleeping? You hear from the other side of the door. You know this voice. Not the cause of problems, but a factor that both in you and Phoebe's life of both mentor and also senior troublemaking advisor of Apollo.
Known as Diodoros to me at that time.
Yeah, correct.
Diodoros, I was, but the crickets are loud anyway. What can I do?
The door creaks a little bit, and you can see the faintest little candle light, like flickering and shaping the face of Diodoros as he peeks his head in. Are you decent?
Yes.
He opens and slides in as best he can and close the door, only having this little bitty candle in his hand as he brings it over to sets it on the floor by your bed.
What are you doing up?
I couldn't sleep. The sun's not up, but I feel like it is.
Prayer comes early in the morning.
He throws himself back on the ground. Timisto?
Yes.
Do you believe in second chances?
I like to think so, yes. I know that some of the stories are maybe a little tough, but I think people can be good.
Sometimes the stories of the gods frighten me. They pretend to be good, but then they do bad things. And then they try to do good things again, but they also wind up doing bad things again. So is it that they are good and make mistakes, or is it that they are bad and keep trying to make up for them?
Hmm. I don't know. I think that's a bigger question than me.
I know, but I just... Sometimes you say very smart things, and I feel like you're very smart for being as little as you are. You see the
Well-
world differently than I do.
Of course, my mother and the priests say that is because of Gaia. So,
What do you think Gaia is like?
I think she's very kind. Oh, surely someone who has made this place as everything we touch is someone generous. Um, at least that's what I like. I like to think.
He sits up. I think you're right. You've been right about a lot, so I'm pretty sure you're probably right about these too.
You can see her kind of reach up and touch your snakes, though. Like,
You have a brief moment of omniscience, of like, it's kind of like when you a lucid dream when you realize you're dreaming and you remember this moment. You remember that you are asleep and you are replaying this moment. And you look at him now with not the eyes of a child, but the eyes of knowing everything that you know now. And he's like looking at the really high in the wall near the ceiling, the one like little window of that lets air flow in from the outside, and you can kind of see the stars beyond. And he's just kind of looking up at that.
so, I have proof too.
He looks over at you. You do?
Yes. The stories say she eventually forgave Apollo. So it must take someone of great kindness to do that.
Make an insight check.
That is a 23.
You've never noticed this before, but you see on his face, with the knowledge of an adult Themisto, the face of a boy who feels immediate pangs of guilt and sadness. As a child, you just probably wouldn't even have noticed this, but you've known enough about reading body language now that you see his face looks extremely saddened when you say that. And he kind of sits up and puts his knees to his chest and just kind of like leans on his knee, the tops of his legs. But doesn't say anything. And you wonder, with the knowledge you have now, if he is reliving something, as he looks distant in his thought. And you aware that you are dreaming. Do you reach out? You reach out consolingly. And touch his shoulder. And there is this flash. And you see Diodoros on his knees, hands trembling as he looks into hands filled with blood. And he looks up. And on the ground around him, a large green reptilian creature lays unmoving. In his eyes, you see terror and sadness. And he looks over at the thing, this creature, this python. And you see that this is not the boy Diodoros, but somehow he looks older, an adult. And he's trembling. And he rubs himself in his arms like he's cold and afraid. And he falls to his knees, and his knees splash into a pool of blood. And he shakes his head. No. No, not again. Not again. I cannot do this again. And you hear a voice call out to him. Apollo! What have you done? And he turns and looks, and you look as well. And a tall, regal, beautiful woman, a Gorgon, just like yourself. He looks up at her. Gaia, he's here. Something is here. We've all... Something's happened. I'm so sorry. And you pull back as the flood of emotion that you feel from him is such a strong and poignant fear that it kind of makes your heart stop for a second. You pull back and you're just seeing him resting his head on his shoulders or on his knees. And he looks up at you. I think you're right. She has to be kind. For her to have forgiven him for doing such a terrible thing. Well, I'm not going to keep you awake because I don't want you to worry. I don't want you to miss prayers in the morning.
Are you sure you're okay?
Yes. Of course. I'm just going to go and try and sleep, I guess. Maybe I'll try and play a little tune.
I could come with you.
Maybe one day. He goes over to the door and opens it, and it's brilliant white light. And he steps through it into the brilliant white light, and it stays a crack open. And just kind of slowly opens a little bit more, and you just see brilliant white light filling the room. What do you do?
Yeah. Lucid Dreaming Themisto is gonna try to take over and try to chase after him.
You get up, and as you take those couple of steps forward, your viewpoint shifts from small perspective to tall with each step until you grab the door and you open it and you step through into white pearlescent light. And you feel like you've taken a breath for the first time. As you see a brilliant white and golden chamber like you had seen before, with the blurred figures that were moving about And it clears just a little bit more. And a little bit more. And you see these smooth, shining surfaces that look like brilliant mirrors. The floor, the walls. And the space beyond. A window into stars. And the figures that stand shouting commands in a language you don't understand become a slightly clearer, and you see Gorgons dressed in strange attire, tight to their body tunics that have long drooping sashes and capes. And whatever they shout, you can feel the fear in their voice, even though you don't understand the words. And one of them goes over to a table, places a hand on it, and they look to these stars, and the entire star field twists and spins, and the room seems to stretch. And you are slung through space, not knowing where it is that you are going. And we'll have to find out where you wind up next week.
Damn you.
Wow, wow.
I hate you.
I know. I hate me too.
You've made a grave enemy today, Aaron.
Why would I do?
You made us wait.
Oh, well, at least you don't have to wait 2 weeks like the last time. It's just 1 week.
And for that week, you've made a grave enemy.
No. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. I promise. Ah! All right. Well, that
Don't worry,
was.
You haven't made a Graham enemy yet.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, no. Hannah, you're still here. You're awake. I'm impressed. I figured the EPs would have taken you long ago.
Hello.
Yeah. Everyone survived. I almost told you it was just a few little spiders. Kind of. Spider adjacent.
Pudding?
Yes. Why is pudding such a bad word? I don't understand.
I think One
Barely.
of the sounds that it can make in the right circumstance. Wrong.
Oh no. Pudding's
We
so
fought. We squelched. We explored.
Ah! Yeah, no, definitely
I
when I
apologize
was
for nothing.
thinking about that scene earlier, the idea there back in the early days of Google Maps when you would start at was it Google Earth?
Google Earth, and then they kind of merged the two.
Mm-hmm. Where you could just like have this globe and you would use the computer to drag it, and my computer at the time could barely handle this like terribly rendered globe, and so you like drag it and it wouldn't move, and then all of a sudden it'd go and then stop. I think it was like it was that, and there was something similar to that on Microsoft Encarta. Do you remember Encarta?
Wow, that was aged 30 years.
Oh man, there were so many little games that we had on Encarta 95. I think it was one of the things that I had. I was like trivia. There was like some sort of castle maneuvering game.
The castle trivia game?
Castle trivia game. That's right.
Yep.
Tell me more, Granddad Taco. Shut up. But anyway, all right. Well, thank you guys for joining
respect
us.
his elders.
Yeah, before we beat you with canes. But yeah, we'll see you soon. We'll hang out. We'll be in the Discords and stuff and such. But until next week, stay fey, be brave, and the safe word is mango. So, don't forget that because that's important. Okay, bye.